Brian Nadeau and Samantha Perry with you, taking a look at Saturday's Belmont Stakes, number 155, the Test of the Champion. Several Gulfstream Park horses that you saw front and center in the race, and major contenders, championship meet kind of horses. Pretty compelling race. I mean, there's nobody lays over the field. Forte coming back. A lot to look forward to and kind of a lot to decipher.
Yeah, it is. And kind of a race I think you and I can both agree we don't have the strongest opinion on.
No, I agree. It's a tricky race, a mile and a half. It's the ultimate unknown, the pace of the race, and all those kind of things. Tappet Trice for you certainly looked good, winning the Bluegrass, kind of gutting it out. And then, I don't know, would you call him a little one-paced in the Derby? Always maybe thought he was a Belmont horse.
Yeah, that's how it's looked from the very beginning since we first saw him here. And I think I remember saying that to Todd Pletcher, this is your Belmont horse. And, you know, the Belmont's not always a closer's race, though, Brian. And he's going to have to get with it a little bit more. He just hasn't been very quick to get into the race. But Luis Saez, he's very aggressive with him. And I think they're going into this race pretty confident.
Yeah, Samantha brings up a good point. I mean, it's a mile and a half, and the misnomer is oftentimes the longer they go, the closers have a better shot at it. Not necessarily the case. I am on a closer, Angel of Empire. You can see his Kentucky Derby where he ran so well. I initially had Tappet Trice on top, and then I saw Brad Cox makes an equipment change, putting blinkers on. You know, that's supposed to sharpen a horse up a little bit. He better be closer.
Yeah, and what's interesting is they had been training the horse in blinkers, but not running them in him. But I heard they're just a little bit of a cheater's type of blinkers in Flavian Pride. It was his idea. So, yeah, it'll be interesting with him, and I think he deserves a good look.
Yeah, certainly another one of those horses like a Tappet Trice where you look at the running style and the pedigree, you would think a mile and a half is within his scope, and maybe he likes it a little bit more than most. National Treasure, of course, the Preakness winner. You saw him up at Pimlico where he walked on the lead. Going to have a different tactic, I think, in the Belmont.
Yeah, I think so, too. I don't think that they're going to let him easy on the lead. Like we mentioned, Il Miracolo seems to be the pace of this race here. For how long, it remains to be seen. But trainer Bob Baffert does a good job with horses running tops as far as in their Belmont Stakes effort when he brings horses to New York. We know this horse is fit, but it's just the distance and what kind of setup is he going to get is a question.
Yeah, back on 3 weeks off clearly the race of his life as well, where he certainly had to run hard late, if not early, and likely won't be on the lead, at least early on in the Belmont. Forte, it's funny to call the morning line favorite, the 2-year-old champion, the wild card. But he kind of basically is. We know what happened in the Derby, but I got to be honest with you. I was comfortably playing against him in the Derby anyway. And after missing it, he really didn't miss much training. He could beat me on Saturday, though.
Yeah, he could. And a horse that I feel like they've kind of had to push along a little bit more than maybe he needed to be to get ready for this race. He's always been a very fit horse, and he wouldn't surprise me. But I'm leaning along the lines of you. I think it's just going to be tough for him. The distance is a big question as well. And he's a horse that kind of does the bare minimum to get the win. And what kind of trip is he going to get here? And what kind of horse is he now?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give him credit for running by Mage, the Kentucky Derby winner, in our Curlin, Florida Derby. But to me, it was as much the first minute and 40 seconds as it was the last 8 or 10 seconds in that race.
Yeah, I agree. And it is cool to see the horses from the championship meet just kind of dominate the Belmont field in these 3-year-old restricted races. But it's a tough one, and it's not called the Test of Champions lightly by any means.
Without a doubt. Tappet Trice for Samantha. Angel of Empire for me. Best of luck.